I've always wanted to go back to Romania. I think it's a beautiful country. I only got to
It
spend
is.
4 days there, but I enjoyed it very much, and only in Bucharest. At the time, the tour of Bucharest. So Bucharest, before World War II, was known as the Paris
Of the
of
East.
of the East. And when we took the tour of Bucharest, you had this incredible contrast between some sections of Bucharest that were still beautiful and sort of
Mhm.
bohemian in their
Yeah,
architecture, and then these other horrifying parts of
yeah.
Bucharest where everything had been torn down, and
Mhm.
these incredible buildings, not to human scale,
Yeah,
Mm,
dominated the skyline.
yeah.
mhm.
You're talking about the Palace of the People. Yeah,
The Palace of the People.
yes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
The
What a
Palace
great
of the People
name.
was Ceausescu's idea of a large building that would have one part of it would house the parliament, Congress, whatever, the legislative branch. One would be the executive side, and then there would be a court side, and they would all be in this one building. Now, and that building is the largest in the world, volume or wise, except for the Pentagon.
Mm.
Now, the Romanian, I think it's the Senate that's, well, no, I guess the Congress sits there now, but whatever. It's the point being that for a Romanian, they hate when foreigners come and say, oh, what a beautiful building, because so many people died for that building because it was costing so much. And Ceausescu didn't want to have any sort of foreign debt, that he started exporting all the food out of Romania. So there was no food, like the 80s.
Explicitly to get the money to build this building.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so the 80s, the 70s were okay. The 80s, no one could find enough food. It was a
Wow.
horrible time. You not only food, you couldn't find anything else. You couldn't find clothes or anything else. I mean, everything
So
was
was
being
he
exported.
considered an autocrat?
I would say that's an understatement.
Okay,
Oh yes,
sorry. I know that he
he,
was considered a dictator, but how do you differentiate dictator and autocrat?
I don't know how I would, but he
Same?
was all of it.
I
Yeah.
mean, he was a supreme ruler, and
Sort of like
my
North Korea's.
experience, he
Yeah.
wasn't far off from North
He
Korea.
was inspired by North Korea. In
Yes.
fact, the
Oh.
80s are
He
why
explicitly
they
said
were.
that?
He had visited North Korea
Oh.
like at the very beginning of the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and brought back a lot of that idea of cult of personality and a lot of the things North Koreans had. So that visit marked a turning point in some ways. But Ceausescu, as I know you both know, was really good at playing the West. I mean,
I don't know
that's
this.
why he
Carmen
got
does.
these visits, the presidential visits from Americans, because he loved to just look like I'm gonna just be the one who walks a little bit away from Moscow, whatever.
So he's playing
While
the middle.
yes, while ruining his people.
Mm.